Vintage Racing presents highlights from the Silver Classic Challenge in Ely, Nevada.
Speed limit signs on the turns say 45, and I was doing 145 when I came up to those turns.
I was scared out of my underwear.
My license plate is Quest for Speed, and I've been that way all my life.
And I passed one Pantera.
I just like to go fast.
Speedometer was indicated 192 at that point.
This is a one-of-a-kind race. There's nothing else like it anywhere in the country. It's the only race on an open road.
There's no faster open road race in the world.
Before designer driving suits, before roll cages, and before computer-tuned engines and high-tech carbon fiber chassis, there was just racing in the dirt. From dust and ravaged cars and raw courage, motorsports began. Pikes Peak, Colorado became a favorite challenge for early racers. It wasn't exactly a safe road, but it was a kick in the gas tank. Nevada, USA. Vintage racing revived the dawn of motorsports. Open road racing is alive and well between Lund and Hiko on Highway 318.
The road is deserted. It's a very safe road. There are no tricks to it, no decreasing radius turns, no potholes, no people.
Showboat Hotel, Las Vegas. On the eve of Challenge Weekend, Cliff Jones, president of Vintage Racing, tells the press about the event.
And the state of Nevada, obviously, and the Highway Patrol, the Department of Transportation, have given us 100% cooperation to put this race on.
Nevada's Central High Desert represents the Old West wide open spaces. Wide open roads. And solid rock. 90-foot walls of rock and what is known as the Narrows. Part of the Silver State Classic Challenge course, this canyon is a brutal reminder that this is not a track race or closed course. The key word here is challenge for both driver and car. No protective railings, no predictable turns, just blind curves, hills, and wide open straights that run for over 10 miles without a turn. In all, 92.6 miles from start to finish. Ely's historic train station symbolizes the railroad's importance in the past. Once an active mining town, Ely's history remains in the form of serene relics on quiet tracks. There was a time when the train was the fastest, most exciting thing on wheels in Ely. The train still runs for visitors, but now there's a new kid in town. From all across the country, drivers have brought their machines to compete against the clock on the open road. The stock exotics, the classics, the customized, high-tech, old-tech, and everything in between.
Yeah, there's so many beautiful cars out here, it's just you don't know where to turn.
I like the Bentley. I like elegance.
Yeah, because 200 miles an hour. This year I'm going to have a 930 turbo Porsche in here. I'll be the driver.
Some drivers are here to challenge one another. Others just want to challenge themselves. They all have one thing in common: passion for racing.
When you look at the race itself, and the fact that it took us 10 hours to drive up here, we're going to be here for 2 days. The race lasts somewhere between 48 minutes and an hour and a half for different drivers, and it's over. And then you've got 10 hours back. So you've got 20 hours worth of driving to race for 45 minutes to an hour. Seems a little crazy, but when you race cars, you don't think about that because it's so much fun.
Well, I thought it was the type of thing that I've always wanted to do, and it's something that I, like to go out and drive fast anyway, and this would be a time when I could do it and really do it safely and find out what the real top performance of the car is.
When I seen the Silver State Challenge, it's kind of a dream of anyone that likes to go fast in the street, not have to think about getting a ticket. Because I've already got one of those today anyway.
We had these hot rods, overhead valve Model A Roadsters.
One night, everyone was out there and they raced, with their lights off. But then the cops got us bottled up on each end.
They used to impound all the cars, take us all up to the police station, impound it all, and have everybody walk home.
This is the roots of motor racing, point A to point B, and it takes us back to where the whole thing started, and I couldn't miss this.
All of us fantasize from time to time. Hey, what if I just had a section, a public highway, closed, where I could just go out there and stretch my legs? What would I do?
Last year I averaged 140.
Tomorrow I think our average speed will be around 145.
It feels better at 160 than the car we ran last year at 150.
Capable of about 165 miles an hour.
We'll be looking to do 180, 185 tomorrow.
It's very exciting. It's like being in an airplane on the road, like you're flying along the road.
This is a race that you kind of set your own standard. When you enter it, you let the promoters know how fast your car will go and how fast you're willing to go. Then the promoters will stop and they'll make a list and put the cars in sort of groups where they should be. And this is really kind of a unique opportunity for a non-professional sports enthusiast to come out, grid himself where he wants to be, and have a real nice, safe, open run at it.
When the car show is over, tall tales all told, and the tech inspection's complete, everybody is high on anticipation. Drivers meeting, Saturday, 5 p.m.
Have some kind of agreement going in as to what your passenger should or should not say to you. No nudging, no pulling of arms. Because, I'm serious. At 170 miles an hour, that can be a disaster. And bear in mind, although this road is very flat and very level and in excellent quality, the shoulders are very sandy and very soft. And if you go up into them at any kind of speed, the car is likely to flip on you. It will not stay on its four wheels.
At the drivers' meeting, Cliff Jones explains the details of the course and answers questions. The emphasis is on driving skill and safety.
Keep your total concentration on what you're doing. That is one of the primary requisites of driving any kind of race car, is concentration. Forget how young you are, how good you are, how clever you are. If you concentrate, you'll be a better driver.
Race day, Sunday sunrise. All competitors caravan from Ely to Lund for the start. Drivers wait anxiously at the starting line. 91 miles south, the checkered flag waits. This year's youngest competitor drives this year's most powerful machine. At 19, R.J. Gottlieb is the fastest teenager in the world. Big Red, his 1969 Z28 Camaro, has a 540 cubic inch Donovan aluminum big block that puts out 750 foot-pounds of torque and 800 horsepower.
The car has a lot of torque. It definitely gets up to speed quick. Our main problem is really aerodynamics. It has a lot of power, it has a lot of torque, but it's just shaped like a brick, and it's hard just to push all that in.
RJ has hit 203 miles per hour on an oval track, winning the 1989 Road and Track Shootout. In this race, he's out to beat his own record. He's #1 off the line.
There's a lot of guys out here that's going to be fast. I don't know, we'll do our best. If it doesn't break down, we don't crash, you know, I think we have a good chance.
Well, we had last year the other Ferrari, the 512 Berlin in a boxer, and we were running about 175 miles an hour through most of the race last year.
Back to race again this year, Larry and Gene Barchi from Chico, California drive a stock 86 Ferrari Testarossa.
When you're driving nearly 3 miles a minute, you got all your attention on the road. Fortunately, my wife was there telling me where the dips and bumps were going to be and the curves, whether it was blind or whatever. So we did well in that way, but you just can't describe that experience. You have to experience it. It's an incredible rush. This is the kind of car that won last year. We were hoping we'd have a better chance this year. This year, of course, there's a lot more competition.
Well, we've had the Testarossa for about 3 months, but I barely got a chance to drive it. And on the way here to this race, I finally got a chance to open it out. It was just a thrill. I loved it. It wasn't that scary. It was just exciting. I'm surprised there are more women that aren't racing.
Once you get going, boy, suddenly the fear goes away and the adrenaline's pumping.
I've done a little bit of national racing and some pro racing with SCCA, but as far as an open highway race like this is my first time.
From Salt Lake City, Utah, pro driver Pratt Cole drives a stock 88 Testarossa, third off the line.
I get fairly used to 120, 125, 130 mile an hour wheel-to-wheel work, but the last 50, 55 miles an hour this car's got to do is still quite a thrill, and especially, you know, down the open highway. I would say, as far as true highway machinery, this is going to be definitely one of the best.
Racing since age 14, Sarita Wirasarita from Austin, Texas, drives a very modified 84 Corvette. This Vet has a 355 13-to-1 big block that delivers 610 horsepower. Wirasarita has installed a Panovac system that blows smoke to relieve oil pressure under high RPMs. From Los Angeles, California, Dan Gottlieb races a slightly modified 89 Corvette. RJ's father, Dan, has worked with his son to make Big Red a surprising competitor in racing. Other than Big Red and a few cars with extra torque, most cars won't be fast off the line at this altitude of 6,000 feet. Plus, they're all geared for top end. Kelly Sievers from Santa Clarita, California, drives a very modified 65 Porsche 911 that's only got 15 miles on it.
Battle getting this thing ready to go, but we've definitely got it ready. And this thing, you get so many G's when you really get on it, when the turbo's all cut in, you know, it's just a really accelerating feeling. It'll be its maiden voyage.
Built for this race, the Porsche's 345 cubic inches puts out 500 horsepower.
Well, it started out life as a plain old 914, and we've done a few modifications to it.
Carl Young comes up the road from Las Vegas to race his ultra-modified 330 horsepower 69 Porsche 914-6.
It's about 3 or 4 inches longer and 4 inches wider and 6 inches lower. This is Wayville and son Michael, the whole team here, you know, the building team.
I've just never done it before, and it's a great opportunity.
But he has raced Ferraris before. Jules Moritz Jr. from Portola Valley, California, drives a stock 85 Testarossa.
I'm sure it goes faster than I go.
It's not so much the speed that we concentrate on, it's just how good the car feels.
What car number?
I don't know yet. We don't know, but...
Yes, I can. 7F, that there was an accident near Sunnyside area, 20 miles south, with injuries. And K7F.
We'll let you know as soon as we know.
All right, thank you very much.
At the starting line, drivers wait to hear which car is crashed.
No, 71 didn't make it.
Pratt Cole was the first to see the wreckage of car number 6.
You know what? That's a skid mark. I suspect the tire. Oh my God! No. See the car crash. Yeah. You know why old guys went there?
Not far behind Cole, Werseria hits a clean 200 on a downhill straight. RJ handles Big Red beautifully at over 200 miles an hour, moving from the safe middle over to his right to spot the entrance to the curve ahead. Without braking, he lets his engine compression slow him to about 170. He's at about 150 in the apex and uses the car's enormous torque to speed up out of the turn.
You know, a lot of the turns are kind of blind, so you just try to slow down as much, you know, what you feel is safe, and then go into them as fast as you can, but safe. You know, sometimes you're just on the blind turns, you don't know how tight it's going to be. A lot of it's just see the appearance and just, you know, just slowing down until you can see what's up ahead.
He takes the canyon very fast and smooth. Great transition from left to right, using 95% of the road.
Even the tightest part of the course, the narrows, we did in third gear at like 6,000.
Cole peaks the hills at 190, adjusting slightly to keep his Testarossa on a smooth line. This is the toughest turn in the race. Opposite of a banking turn, its off-camber exit makes the car want to slide downhill. Cole flies through the canyon. Ferrari's racing heritage shines in the suspension, and Cole pushes it to the limit. He maintains a 130 plus in these turns, posted with a 45-mile-an-hour speed limit. Werseria Panabac system really kicks in as he lets his 13-to-1 compression slow him down for the off-camber turn. He takes it without much room for correction. This deceptive turn surprises a lot of drivers.
Through the canyon, we went into it at 135, 130, came out at 138.
His suspension seems to be well set up, but he gives it a serious workout in the canyon. Gottlieb's experience shows up with smooth, fast driving as he approaches the turn at over 170. He's opened the exhaust and super-tuned his vet. The 6-speed transmission really helps the car's top end. His suspension is the Z51 package, found on only 5% of the new Corvettes.
A few times over the bumps, when the car came back down, it's great. You actually got skid plates underneath it, so it hits those before it hits anything else. Definitely this car shines on the straightaways most of all.
RJ hits 220 miles per hour in what must be a public highway land speed record. RJ's top speed was 220, and he averaged 197 miles an hour.
Fastest street legal car in the nation. I basically ran most of the racing past 180. It's a great feeling. It's a feeling that you have to work up to it. It's a feeling that it's easy to talk about, it's hard to do, and it's something that I don't think people should jump in a car and try.
Cole's top speed, 197. His average speed, 177 miles an hour.
Had a blast. We're gonna make the car a little faster next. This is my first time out here. Yeah. And I was just kind of taking it easy.
Wirasaria's top speed, 205 miles an hour. His average speed, 168. Dan Gottlieb's top speed, 180 miles an hour. His average, 160. Sievers hit 205 miles an hour before his oil cooler failed and blew 2 rods at about 20 miles into the race. An ugly exit for a beautiful car. Young's air-cooled 3.2-liter engine puts out 300 foot-pounds of torque to spur its 330 horsepower. Young uses an experimental mechanical fuel injection system, a transmission modified from a late model 911 SC, and 3 different car bodies to create his Frankenstein's monster. Turning in excess of 8,500 RPMs, it's a real screamer. He takes the canyon gracefully, using just about all of the road. Carl Young's top speed, 175. His average speed, 154 miles an hour. Moritz is definitely more conservative with his Italian lady than Pratt Cole. Much less aggressive, Moritz lets the car pull him rather than pushing the car.
My first time over 150. It just ended too soon.
Moritz top speed, 190. His average speed, 162. Second off the line, Larry and Gene Barchi apparently had a blowout on a straight section of road 28 miles into the run. Their Testarossa, car number 6, veered left off the road and rolled several times. Both were thrown far from the vehicle. Gene was killed, Larry survived. The race is stopped while medical help arrives and the road is cleared. Drivers become tense and thoughtful. It could happen to anybody.
Somebody said he's gone.
There are thoughts about stopping the race, but the drivers decide to continue in the spirit of racing.
We are emotionally
upset, of course, because of the accident. And every one of us will be, I'm pretty sure I am, for myself, speaking for myself, will be extremely careful.
Makes us a little more conservative, I think. Makes you think a little bit about mortality.
I wasn't really aware that there was problems till I was quite on top of it. I have to struggle with that now, whether or not I should have stopped. I would have been a mile later that I would have been stopped. Judging by how it would have took to stop here, it would have been a mile. I could have run back with a 2-pound extinguisher, but the car was in flame and it was on its lid, and I couldn't even tell which car it was. So, quite frankly, what went through my mind was these people couldn't be alive.
Kind of a sport where mishaps like these do happen, and we're all aware of it.
I mean, we sign waivers. We realize there's always an element of an accident in the race.
You need to be prepared for that mentally if you're racing anyway. And like I said, they don't shut down other races for crashes.
No question about it. I'm glad that the race is continuing, because every one of us who gets into this kind of a sport is aware of the dangers involved.
You know, it's part of what happens out here, and it's really not going to change our attitude the way we're going out. We're going out 8/10 before this happened, and we're going to keep it at 8/10.
We've decided to restart the race at 1 o'clock.
In critical condition, Larry Barchi is airlifted to a Las Vegas hospital. Another super-modified 650 horsepower 72 Porsche 911 wouldn't restart because of a fuel system problem. That means another Gottlieb machine pulls up to the starting line.
We've done a lot of work on the car to make it safer. I mean, we put on the bigger wheels, bigger tires, the bigger brakes. It's got a full roll cage in it, full fire extinguisher system, so we feel pretty secure and safe.
Driver Mark Steinberg and co-driver actress Marcia Mason race Gottlieb's 550 horsepower 86 Ford Mustang.
One of the things that's exciting about having the opportunity to do this with Mark is because we have an actual team and cars and everything, this gives me an opportunity to know what it's like in a passenger side.
Off to a good start. They hit nearly 200 miles an hour before the extreme weight of the car and high speed caused two tires to delaminate about 30 miles into the race. Gottlieb says that no radial maid will take the car's weight and speed. He knows that he'll have to trim at least 500 pounds to race this beast again.
This particular car has been modified for the Silver State Challenge, mostly for safety purposes. We've got 5-point seat belts in there. We've got more rubber on the road, larger tires, larger wheels.
Former motorcycle and Formula competitor Jeff Gherkin from El Cajon, California, drives a stock 88 BMW M6.
This particular car is capable of speeds in excess of 180 miles an hour simply by adding a little bit of a header. We've left the catalyst on it and the smog equipment, but the header gives the motor a little bit more of an opportunity to breathe. This is probably the fastest road race in the North American continent, maybe the world. There are straights out there that are downhill and are probably 10 or 12 miles in length, with corners leading onto it of 150 miles an hour. In other words, you exit at 150 and you squeeze the trigger, and somewhere a half mile later you're at 180, and you gotta sit there and sit still for 10 miles at 180 miles an hour. It gives the mind a little bit of a chance to wonder, and you start thinking about, are my tires hot? Are my suspension bolts on right? And you know, these things creep into the back of your mind, and it's a real obligation of a professional driver to make those go away, because you need to be concentrating on the road coming at you.
It's really starting to run now.
We go out and we write pace notes to give us points of reference going down the road. We want to know what follows a 120-mile-an-hour sweeper.
Gherkin takes the right line through the corner, using all of the road for his exit.
Tricky rascal. We got through it at 150 though, Richard.
Gherkin uses detailed pace notes for a performance and safety advantage. He doesn't like surprises.
Yep, another little tricky guy. Things change on a highway. Some dust can blow up. Somebody can change their oil. There can be somebody who blows an engine. There's antifreeze. There's hazards on a public highway that makes it a little bit more exciting. Okay.
43 plus. Right-hander, flat out. Over the rise, short radius.
Gotcha. The real danger in open road races, you can get a little speed drunk. You can get your mind working so fast that it's at a 190 mile an hour clip. And when you need to slow down to what seemingly is a very slow corner, 120 or 130 miles an hour, you can get way too much confidence. You can take the car in too deep. You can carry too much speed.
In the canyon, the BMW's well-balanced ride compares favorably to the Testarosa's stiff canyon run. Gherkin makes up for the Beamer's relatively low 260 horsepower with good racing lines. Gherkin tries to push the M6, but can't get it past 6,500 RPM. After the accident delay, the temperature has risen to 90 degrees and engines have a harder time breathing.
A lot of fun. Woo!
Gherkin's top speed, 170. He averaged 149.
This is an Aston Martin DB6, 1967. It's the same kind of car as James Bond drove in Goldfinger. As soon as I get them hooked up, I'm willing to spray oil and sparks at the people behind me. Now, I may involuntarily spray oil anyway, but I want to be able to do it on the command.
From Las Vegas, Richard Joyce races his stock '89 Corvette. He winds up having an unexpected duel with Eric Rivera from La Habra Heights, California, driving a stock '86 Porsche 911 Cabriolet. Rivera does a spectacular run, closing a 30-second gap and passing Joyce. The challenge heats up between these two classic rivals, Porsche and Corvette.
But I didn't see anybody behind me except for the red vet that I passed, and you passed me a few times.
Wow, unbelievable. Unbelievable. I backed out of a few times because this isn't for money. I bet he went a lot faster than he thought he was going to go.
I wanted to bet.
In the last 5 miles, Joyce barely regains the lead.
Are you in a Porsche? God forbid. My best buddy in the world.
Oh, where you go?
But loses to Rivera for best elapsed time. Joyce, top speed 165. He averaged 143. Rivera's top speed 165 and averaged 145. From Las Vegas, Steve Waldman drives a stock 73 De Tomaso Pantera.
Just like a plane, you know, you're going at this type of speed that will make you airborne if there's a certain amount of crosswind.
Waldman does all the maintenance on his Pantera and has a good run, but his engine is only a week old, so he doesn't push it. Waldman's top speed, 144. He averaged 130.
We have installed all of the safety equipment that we feel would even at least be indicated. And I also just recently went to a driving school, although I have been a licensed SCCA driver, as did many years ago, and we felt it was time to go back and take a refresher, and we're ready to go now.
Phil Henry from Henderson, Nevada, drives a stock '86 Corvette. From Huntington Beach, California, Ron Hoban drives an '88 stock Corvette.
There's about 3 different surfaces out there that we encountered, and one of them, the suspension on this car, is going to be a little exciting. The other 2, the car is set up for just perfectly, and we'll be able to fly through those. The car is set up for top end and the long straights, and we didn't want to push it in the corners today. We slowed down substantially through some of them.
Hoban's '88 vet nearly catches Henry in the canyon. Henry pushes a bit and maintains his lead. Both vets drive good racing lines. It's Henry's first race in 25 years, and his daughter is co-driver, so he's cautious yet unwilling to lose his lead. Henry's top speed, 160. He averaged 141. Hoban's top speed, 164, and averaged 142.
Well, at list, the sticker price is $150,000. When I purchased mine back in September, there were only about 15 in the country, so I paid $20,000 over sticker.
A shrewd negotiator, Wilf Rivera, from La Habra Heights, California, drives a stock '89 Bentley. This 6,000-pound piece of sculpture moves with a little speed and a lot of style.
Well, what a ride. Comfort. Had the air conditioner on all the way. Yay!
If I have Alzheimer's disease, this is one memory I'm going to keep.
Rivera's top speed, 135. He averaged 125.
That's a V8, 4.9 liter, dual overhead cam, about 340 horsepower.
Jim Johnson from San Francisco, California, drives a stock '77 Maserati Bora.
Some cars that when you're driving at high speed, they jitter around. You've probably seen the onboard cameras I have on some of the Indy and Formula One cars. You can see the steering wheel doing a lot of shaking around, and that just doesn't happen in these GT cars. They just go down the road. About all you have to worry about is overheating.
The Maserati Bora is classic Italian design, styling lineage that goes back to Bertone. Johnson has fun with it. Johnson's top speed, 155. He averaged 135.
Well, there's not many four-doors, but I have to tell you, it does some miraculous things for my ego to go buy some of these Corvettes and turbo Porsches with my four-door sedan.
Rug Cunningham from El Cajon, California, drives a stock '87 BMW M5. In front of Rug is a Mercedes 16-valve 190 with a taunting license plate, Beamer reader. This Mercedes driver doesn't know that it has the famous M engine on its tail.
Well, the modifications to the car are nil. The smog devices have not been tampered with. The computers are factory stock. The exhaust systems are factory stock. The only thing that we have done is add shoulder harnesses and lap belts, a fire extinguisher, and we are running a little larger tire.
There we go, through the gears, 6,500 RPMs.
Rug drives his Beamer M engine for all it's worth.
Beamer reader. Sorry,
He easily passes the Mercedes.
seems like an eternity when you're in the car. You have the concentration level is so intense that there's nowhere along the course where you pat yourself on the back about what a stud you are or what a wonderful job you're doing. There's no time for that.
Rugg campaigns in IndyCar and is a licensed IMSA and SCCA driver.
Most of the time about 160, 155, 160 indicated, but we're running these 17-inch tires, which has to be 7-8%. So we'll see.
On the final stretch, Rugg even passes a surprise 911.
I'll tell you, that sun feels awful good. A little bit of breeze going through my hair is just about the best thing there is on this planet.
Cunningham's top speed, 165. He averaged 143. Rich Holdner from Costa Mesa, California, drives an '88 Ford Mustang GT.
The only changes I've made to the car that weren't on the car when it came from the factory is I put a roll cage in it and some safety equipment, but also I put a set of headers and open pipes just so it breathes a little better, and I've changed the air filter, and that's it. And other than that, just hold your foot on the throttle. And last year I got a cramp in my leg from holding it down for half hour or 40 minutes, however long I was out on the course.
This kid drives his Mustang very aggressively, making great time. Holdner's top speed, 160. He averaged 143. Cliff Jones from Los Angeles, California, drives a stock '88 BMW M6. Jones's BMW suspension inputs are so well isolated from the steering that it's smooth sailing, even at 160. Driving great lines throughout the course, Jones had just one problem. He ran out of gas just before the finish and rolled past the checkered flag. Jones' top speed, 160. He averaged 146.
At first, I was scared out of my underwear.
Robert Dalrymple from Los Angeles, California, drives a stock '84 Porsche Carrera.
Passed one Pantera in the S's.
Dalrymple pushes his super clean 911 to the limit and eats up the Pantera. And nearly catches a Testarossa.
101? There's a kind of exaltation, I'll have to say that.
Dalrymple's top speed, 160. He averaged nearly 140. Last off the line, Ken Thamstrom drives a 1928 Buick Speedster. Averaging 63 miles per hour, Thamstrom was the slowest, but still had a lot of fun. The fastest car and winner of this year's Silver State Classic Challenge is car number 1, R.J. Gottlieb, driving Big Red to a top speed of 220 miles an hour.
One of the champions that was interviewed a few years ago said that racing is life, all the rest is just waiting.